everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Proud Skill Worker. Today, we have an opportunity to interview Richard Harris, an electrician located here in Nebraska. Richard, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's a blessing to be here.
So, Richard, as we always start off the show, I'm curious to know, tell me a little bit about how you got into the trades, how you got into the industry, and how that's been for you.
Okay. I was probably 18 years old when I decided to move away from Batesville, Mississippi. And I moved to a small town called St. Mary's, Georgia. From there, I met my cousin, Anthony Clark, and I didn't know nothing about being maintenance or anything. And matter of fact, I think I was working at Walmart at the time. I finally met him. He took me up under his wings, and I just flew out from there, man. He taught me everything I know.
So from 18 Walmart to where are you at today, sir?
Electrician. I'm an electrician now, certified electrician.
I love it. I love it. So in those years that you've had in the industry, what's been your biggest challenge, do you think?
Well, to be honest with you, when I started with my cousin, I started off as a welder, and he did a lot of iron work. My biggest challenge was getting off the ground to go on top of this building and pass a welding inspection. And that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. But that's where I started off as a welder.
How did you find out about Skillwork? So you're a previous Skillwork employee. You used to work with Skillwork. You currently do not. You've taken another opportunity and definitely moved up and beyond. So definitely huge kudos to you on that. Really, really happy to be a part of that career transition you've made. But how did you hear about Skillwork when you first came to us?
Well, to be honest, man, I was working at a place called Job Corps at Batesville, Mississippi. I was a maintenance guy there. I was online one day. I saw Skillwork, and I remember talking to my wife about it, and I decided to fill out an application. I never heard of this. I never heard of Skillwork at all. I called around, asked a couple of people, and I was a little nervous about it. And soon I put the application in, probably like the next day. My recruiter called me. I forgot his name, but he was such a great guy. He helped me all the way through the end. He called me the next day and answered any questions I wanted, and he made me feel very comfortable.
What part of Skillwork made you nervous? I mean, we're a full-time travel staffing company, so that inside of itself can make people nervous. But what part kind of got you a little hesitant?
It was the fact that where I was from, I didn't hear about Skillwork at the time. Plus, I didn't want to leave my family behind after I found out, that y'all really literally like travel all over the world. So that was I was a little nervous about that. Just the fact from leaving from home.
Yeah. So, Richard, left home, came on board with Skillwork, pretty good experience. Tell me about where you are now, how you went from being a maintenance mechanic with Job Corps to an electrician, and tell me that timeline. Tell me what that's meant for you and your family and your future. Richard, I'm curious to know your story, how you got to where you are, bud.
Okay. So, like I said, I went online, I put in the application for Skillwork. My recruiter had called me, and so we talked for like almost 2 hours on the phone. And he made me feel very comfortable. I told him that I was a little nervous at leaving my family behind and a lot of things. And, after he talked to me, he found out that I had a lot of skill. And he told me that, Richard, I promise you, man, if you give us a try, we could literally change your life and put way more money in your pocket. And I was like, okay. And I went home, talked to my wife about it. She was a little nervous too, and she okayed me leaving because she was saying that, she knew that I had bigger goals in life. So I got on the road and started to drive. And like I said, my recruiter, he was talking to me almost the whole trip, made sure I was okay. Got here, Nebraska, started working for the company that Skillwork had got me the job with Smithfield. I started off as a maintenance guy there, and the company, they loved me so much. I did a lot of tasks that they usually don't see a lot of skilled worker guys come in to do. Mm-hmm. And then I never forget, man, he called me in the office. He said, man, look, we want you to stay. We whatever we have to do to get you here, we want you here. And he said, matter of fact, I got a better offer for you. He said, I want you to become an electrician. I was like, man, I have little experience on being an electrician. He was like, no, you don't, Richard. You're a very smart person at what you do. He offered me that position, man. And next thing you know, 3 months later, I became certified.
That's amazing. So on site there, converted to that team, went full time with that client of ours, as you mentioned. Their offer to you was, we'd like to pay you more to do more and better yourself.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, man, like I say, skill work, You guys really changed my life, man. I was back home making probably $17 an hour, man, and I was literally working hard all day. I really thank God for you guys because y'all put me in that direction, man, to better myself.
So it's a huge blessing for us to hear these stories, Richard. And
Oh yeah.
as you know, and anybody who's ever followed Skillwork knows, our core values, we measure our success by the number of people we could positively impact. And and Richard, this seems silly, but we're impacting you and your family and your next generation and the team there at the client. So this ripple effect grows
Yes,
dramatically.
sir.
I'm really curious to know. You said, hey, when you got on site, you started doing a bunch of tasks and doing a bunch of jobs that people weren't getting done and that other people weren't able to accomplish. How do you do that? How do you find a way to troubleshoot effectively, to stand out from the rest, to show people who you really are without being too brash or getting in people's face? What was your approach to your troubleshooting methods, and how did you stand out from the rest of the people in that facility?
Well, how did I stand out was I didn't quit. Even like when it came a time, when it was time for me to get off, I stayed there until I got the job done. That's the difference in me. Like if you give me a job to do, if I have to Google it, I'm gonna find out how to beat this thing, and I'm not a quitter. And plus, the number one thing of becoming a great maintenance tech or electrician or anything is you have to feel loved at home. And like I say, my wife, she does a great job at making me feel like I'm important. Like I say, when I came up when I was younger, I didn't have that full support like I wanted to until I met her. She changed my life.
Right.
So it's the love she had for me. That's the reason why I don't quit in a lot of things I do.
And it's so important to have that home life balance. So important to have that why inside of you of
Oh
what
yeah.
you're pursuing. And your why is my why is my family. So everything you do ripples out of that. You
Oh yeah.
become a good maintenance tech because you want to be persistent, you want to be dedicated, you want to grow to support your family and to show your wife the same love she shows you. And that's huge. It's interesting. And I'm going to ask you, how did you find your why? How did you come across the why you want to do it? Because for everybody, it's different. For you, it's your wife. For somebody else, it's going to be, hey, my why is making my parents proud. My why is making my kids proud. How did you find your why? And tell me the feeling you got when you found that.
Well, I never forget this. Like I say, I started off as a
Mm-hmm.
welder. I was in Macon, Georgia. My cousin, he was teaching me how to weld. It took him a year to really, for him to feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
letting me weld. We was welding one day, and an inspector came out on the job. He told me I failed my welding test. I remember I wanted to quit because I felt like all the hard work I did, it wasn't enough. My cousin looked at me and told me, Richard, just because you fail at something doesn't mean that that's it. To sum all that up, man, I just, if you ever felt failure before, you wouldn't want to feel that again. That day, to be honest, I felt like I didn't put my all in it. That would really motivate me now to make sure I do a good job. And like I say, my family is my number one why because, they look up to me a
Sure.
whole lot.
And you said something there, I think, that has become almost taboo in today's culture, which is putting your all into something. Because when you put your all into something, if it doesn't
Right,
work, you have to admit that. Most people are approaching stuff with kind of
right,
a lackadaisical thing, like, hey, I'll try at it, but I'm not going to give this everything because if it doesn't work, I don't want to be that person. So
right.
talk to me, because as you got into that facility you're in, I'm guessing there was a bunch of new machinery, a bunch of new equipment, a bunch of new things.
Oh, yeah.
How did you put your all into learning that equipment? I mean, what do you do? Is it take all of it in at once, or do you pick one thing at a time? Talk to me about how you go after that daunting task of learning a whole new facility and machinery group, all that.
Okay. A saying my grandmama used to say, man, you have to go to hell to get to heaven. Man, I worked probably 12 hours a day,
Mm.
12 hours a day. And I literally met first shift, second shift, and third shift all in one day. I did that for 7 days, man. I stayed over and I talked to the guys. I showed them that I really wanted to work. And what I mean by that is if something broke down, I told them, hey, bad back, let me do it. And they coached me through it. And I literally stayed 12-hour days, man, because I wanted to learn so bad. And I did, man. As a matter of fact, I know I told you that I became electrician, but I'm on first shift electrician. And that is a very hard thing, anybody dealing with maintenance, to come straight to first shift.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think you're on first shift? What part of your skill set or what part of your attitude do you think brought you to first shift? Because I don't know this to be certain, but you're probably not the most experienced electrician on staff. And there's probably a couple guys there who are maybe a little bit technically more proficient than you. But how did you end up on first shift going, I'm the guy?
Well, they told me they wanted to put me on first shift because of my drive. And because my number one thing is, when I'm at work, I don't pay attention to the clock. When you find people that pay attention to the clock, they days, they started to drag. They so ready to go home when you constantly looking down at your watch. But me, I don't do that. When I'm at work, I'm at work. And plus, first shift is when all the production is running. Second shift, production don't run all day. Third shift just PM and tear down group. The supervisor thought that I was a whole lot smarter than being on second and third, and he wanted to put me on first because of my drive, and I was just a good pick for first shift. And plus, I knew a whole lot without them even teaching me, man. My number one thing, like I said earlier, I never gave up. I never quit. I just kept going, even when the plant get real hot. And like I say, I work in a pack house, so I see a lot of blood. It's not the cleanest place, When they saw that, man, when they saw that drive in me, they were like, "Oh yeah, I gotta put him on first shift because he's not going to give up on something. He's not going to call people and ask for help. He's going to try to get it done." So I made a perfect fit,
That's
man.
Great. Richard, this is my favorite part of the show. As we move into this next part, is I'm going to open the floor to you. I want you to take 5, 10, however long minutes, and just tell every technician, every electrician, every young maintenance mechanic or old maintenance mechanic, that what's the one thing you wish you could tell everybody in the industry that you think would raise the bar, that you think would bring people from being a 6 happiness to a 10 happiness, or a 6 productivity to a 10 productivity. What's that piece, Richard, that you would just bestow on everybody if given an opportunity? And I'm opening the door.
Okay. Never quit. Well, you will have a lot of people that will tell you that you can't do this or you can't do this. And what I did was I took can't out of my vocabulary. I can even go back there in school, man, where I had teachers that told me that I wasn't going to be anything. I never gave up. And just because you're working at McDonald's or Walmart or you feel like you're getting underpaid at the time, you have to put effort and really stand out. Just keep your head up. You're going to go through a lot of things with your family. You're going to lose family members, on your way. You're going to lose loved one on your way. Just keep your head up and just keep pushing. Just because somebody said no today, that doesn't mean that the next person going to say no tomorrow. That's how I feel about Skillwork. They didn't say no to me. They believed in me. And they gave me an opportunity. I moved my family from Mississippi to Nebraska now. My wife love it. Kids love it. So just keep your head up and just keep moving. No matter what nobody say or anything. When it starts raining, just put your head down and just keep going.
So good. I think it's really cool for me to be a part of these, Richard. And what you just challenged me with and what you just put on my heart and on me is go all in, don't quit. And that's something that everybody could probably take a little dose of. And as you alluded to in here a little bit, and I'm going to challenge everybody who's listening to this podcast, who's watching the show, go all in, don't quit. And the third piece of this is find somebody who motivates you when you want to quit, because we're all going to be. Oh yeah, right. Please do.
Can I say one more thing? And I'm sorry, man, but I forgot to say this. Man, we've really been moving strong since we was babies. It was a challenge for us to learn how to walk. I'm pretty sure we fell down. Well, you fell down hard or straight the elbow, bust your head or whatever, but as a child, man, we got up and we kept moving. And I feel like adults can really learn something from watching a baby, because they struggle the moment they hear. They struggle trying to crawl, they struggle trying to walk, but at the end of the day, man, they end up doing it. So we get grown now, and I feel like a lot of people lose that want to. But if you ever was to learn that same mentality that you had when you was a child, anything through life, man, you can get through.
That's huge. Approaching life like no matter what, you're going to do it, is so beneficial, as opposed to, well, if it's hard, I'll just give up. Man, that's huge wisdom for me, huge wisdom for anybody listening. definitely, wisdom to live your life by is with a childlike spirit and a passion to just pursue things and grow. That's so huge. Man, it's a big day right now.
Oh yeah.
Richard's coming in hot with challenges, Skillwork audience. So I hope you guys are ready. Richard, anything else you want to share with the people?
Give Skillwork a try. No matter if you're a woman or a man, anybody can be a skill worker if you put your mind to it.
Richard, thank you so much for being on the show. And all of you, thank you so much for walking through this with us, for being a part of this, and also watching the show. For those of you who are listening on the podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, please subscribe. YouTube, continue to follow us. And for all of you guys out there, please don't give up, go all in, and live your life like a kindred child spirits. Thank you all.